Hello and welcome to the morning updates live on NTN. My name is Jessie Leonce. Today is Tuesday, the 4th of May 2021. We are coming to you live from the Parliament building in downtown Castries. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do hope you stay with us for the duration of the proceedings happening today. If you're not aware, we are here for the House of Assembly sitting that has been scheduled for today. There are papers to be laid by the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service, and the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Industry, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs. The House will also consider a motion for Parliament to further extend the state of emergency that we are currently under. This proposed extension is for an additional period of 5 months, commencing from the 17th of May 2021 and ending on the 16th day of October 2021, in accordance with Section 17(6) of the Constitution of St. Lucia, Cap 1.01. St. Lucia has been under a state of emergency approved by Parliament that commenced 11th of February 2021 and scheduled to end on the 16th of May 2021. Also, a number of bills are down for consideration today, including the Counter-Trafficking Amendment and Tourism Stimulus and Investment Amendment. Tuesday's sitting is scheduled to commence at 10 a.m., so that is today. The sitting of the Senate is scheduled for Thursday, May 6th, 2021 at 10 a.m. We remind you, our viewership, that in keeping with the protocols that have been established for the management of COVID-19, this ongoing pandemic, members of the public are not allowed in the chamber gallery during the sittings. The public can view the live proceedings on NTN, that is the National Television Network, channel 122, the Government of St. Lucia Facebook page, or the YouTube channel. So please take note of this, of what you can look forward to in the next few hours. This morning, the sitting of the House of Assembly. Just want to indicate a word from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, an admonition on their part, if I should say. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has become aware of mass crowd gatherings that have been planned for today. One such activity is a proposed protest outside the scheduled sitting of Parliament, and it is the admonition of the police drawing reference to the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Prohibition of Assembly Number 4 order, which states restriction on social activities to a person shall not host or attend a mass crowd event. Additionally, the Public Order Act, Chapter 14.04 of the revised laws of St. Lucia prohibits marches near certain premises, and that includes government buildings in Castries. So Parliament building is one such premises, or otherwise without the written consent of the Commissioner of Police. We wish to advise that is the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, notwithstanding the current restrictions relating to the management of COVID-19, the Office of the Commissioner of Police has not received any application for permission to hold a march or protest, and as such, any gatherings will be treated as unlawful and attendees will be asked to disperse. We continue to encourage individuals to avoid any unnecessary mass gatherings as we continue to fight to keep St. Lucia safe. An admonition coming from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force ahead of the House of Assembly sittings, where we will see a motion being considered to further extend the state of emergency for another 5 months. Getting into some of the lead developments coming from the government of St. Lucia, we have a word from the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have the major landslide on the Bodlil having reintroduced discussions on a north-south link road. We will also give you an update on the Bodlil Road as well. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reassures the public and the risk associated with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine remains low, and the St. Lucian Diaspora continues to contribute to the homeland. We're going to start with the Bodlil. The landslide which occurred along the Bodlil Road has reintroduced discussions, as I indicated, about the north-south link road. We have Herma Demac with the details. Take a look.
A landslide that occurred on the East Coast on Thursday, April 29th, has reignited conversation of the possibility of a north-south link road. Minister for Infrastructure Honorable Stephenson King, at a recent media briefing, said the landslide enforces the need for a north-south highway and central bypass. Government is exploring the viability of this project.
A road from the east to the west, bypassing the Badlil and utilizing more navigatable terrain. It also enforces the point for the northeast highway, the northeast highway link road rather, which would take you from Grosley to the east coast. We are actively engaging in discussions, and we are about to sign an agreement to allow for the necessary studies to be undertaken. The east-west link road and the north-south link road.
The East-West Link Road and North-South Link Road are intended to relieve traffic from the east to the west and north to the south. Honorable Stevenson King says the link roads are also necessary as government continues to improve infrastructure to withstand climate change.
As you rightly said, climate change brings about new phenomena, and therefore it is for this reason that the government has been actively pursuing the idea of having a north-south link road and an east-west link road to bring relief and to remove people from the Badlil, which from time memorial has been an area of tremendous atmospheric event. And therefore this event here today speaks to the question and the need for us to speed up the initiative and get some alternative routes around the island, north, south, east and west.
That was Honorable Stevenson King, Minister with responsibility for infrastructure. From the Government Information Service, I'm Hermeti Mark.
Thank you, Homer, for that report. Now, as of 4 p.m. Friday, that was the 30th of April 2021, the Badlil Road had been reopened to all forms of vehicular traffic. A new lane has been constructed to safely take motorists around the landslide to their destinations. In the interest of public safety, the affected area has been cordoned off with caution tape, cones and traffic signs. Motorists are advised to drive with caution and observe the warnings and guidance from traffic control personnel. The Ministry of Infrastructure, Port, Energy and Labour thanks the various stakeholders, including the utility companies, private contractors, the Traffic Department and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the National Emergency Management Organization, staff of the Forestry Department, engineers, technicians and other support personnel who worked tirelessly to reopen the Badlil, providing safe access to all commuters. We now come to the part of our update this morning where we provide you with the latest figures with respect to COVID-19. St. Lucia has recorded 13 new cases of COVID-19. We got that word from the ministry just yesterday, May 3rd. They did indicate that this was out of a batch of 165 samples which were taken on the 29th of April and the 30th of April. The samples were processed on the 2nd of May. These individuals were seen at the various community respiratory clinics, nothing out of the ordinary, where they were assessed and tested, and upon confirmation of these 13 positive cases, they were taken in for care. Contact tracing efforts are also underway for these newly diagnosed individuals. Confirmation was also received of 30 individuals diagnosed with COVID-19, bringing the total number of active cases in country to date back to the double digits, 96. Presently, one of the active cases requires critical care at the respiratory hospital. The new cases bring the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date, that is since March of last year, to 4,573. As of Friday, April 30th, so up till April, we've so far had 24,426 individuals receiving their first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine and 3,853 individuals receiving the second dose. Today, Tuesday, May 4th, 2021, the health team will be administering vaccines at the Philip Marsley grounds in Vieux-Fort, the Larishus Denry Parish Hall, the Jackmel Wellness Center, and also the Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds and the Cicero Wellness Center. This COVID-19 vaccination drive will cater to the general population for the first dose of the vaccine and also those individuals receiving the second dose of the vaccine. The ministry reminds everyone of the importance of adopting behaviors to reduce exposure to the virus. So please take note and please continue to adhere to the protocols and the infection prevention recommendations that have augured well for us so far. The Ministry of Health is encouraging members of the public to get vaccinated against the coronavirus. We have health officials during a panel discussion last week noting the benefits associated with the vaccine, which far outweigh the risk essentially. Details in this report. Take a look.
The risk associated with taking the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines remains considerably low. So said Medical Officer of Health Dr. Glensford Joseph during a panel discussion on Friday. While COVID-19 is associated with the formation of blood clots, Dr. Joseph added that individuals without being infected with COVID-19 may be predisposed to several risk factors for the formation of blood clots.
In addition to COVID-19, we do know that in the background, we have several other risk factors for formation of clot when you try to associate the AstraZeneca with blood clots, such as obesity, advancing age, tobacco smoking, the use of contraceptive pills containing what we call the estrogen, persons who may have cancers, persons with immobility, persons with a family history of blood clots and injuries, trauma. So all these are things in the background that can result in blood clot. And more so, if you look at some of the developed countries, all right, you have on average some 900,000 persons develop what we call venous thromboembolism, that is clots in the vein, and this is without the introduction of the vaccine. And some 100,000 or so die from blood clots each year in some territories. And so when you look at all this, and the risk when it comes to the AstraZeneca is less than 1 in a million or even more so, the benefits of vaccinating far outweigh the risk.
Assistant Principal Nursing Officer and National Immunization Manager Tekla Jean-Baptiste indicated that as part of the National Immunization Program, a system for monitoring has been established. Jean-Baptiste urged members of the public to report to a medical professional if any side effects are experienced after taking the vaccine. An individual will be asked to fill out an adverse event reporting form, and the information is then passed on to relevant medical professionals, following which the situation is escalated where an investigation is then launched.
The purpose of the investigation is really to determine, to analyze the data that we have collected. So we would collect as much detail as possible surrounding the event, the person, drug history, medical history, etc. All of this is in an effort to determine causality, to see what exactly would have caused the event. Because even if you're experiencing something after you would have taken a vaccine, it does not necessarily mean that it is the vaccine that caused it. So hence the reason why it is important for that detailed investigation and assessment and causality assessment. At the end of the day, whether it is linked to, whether we find that it is linked to the vaccine or not, that in itself is we provide feedback. So we will provide feedback to the client. Okay, we found X, Y, Z. It seems that it was related to the vaccine that you took or not.
Community pediatrician Dr. Lucia encouraged members of the public to get vaccinated as St. Lucia continues the fight against COVID-19.
The benefits of the vaccination way it's more than the risk that comes with it. And like we have said, we have so many things to benefit from getting vaccination than not getting vaccination. So I am going to encourage every one of us to go and be vaccinated.
The panel discussion was held on Friday, 30th April 2021 by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in an effort to sensitize the public on the importance of vaccines as part of activities commemorating the 19th Vaccination Week. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
And if you have been vaccinated from March 8th to the 13th of March, you are encouraged by the Ministry of Health to visit the vaccination site nearest to you during this week to receive the second dose. It means that you are due for your second dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca. Individuals receiving the second dose, Individuals receiving their first dose of the vaccine can go to any one of the locations as well. But if you receive your second dose, you should also walk with the vaccination card which was given when you received your first vaccine, when it was first administered. Just to let you know the locations where you can get vaccinated today. We have the vaccinations happening at the Philip Marsley Grounds, Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds, the Larry Schutz Dennery Parish Hall, Jack Mill Wellness Center, Cicero Wellness Center. If you have time on your hands later on this week, I'm talking tomorrow, Wednesday perhaps, you can go get vaccinated at the Bellevue Wellness Center, Dennery Mothers Preschool, the VG Sports Complex, or the Etang Wellness Center. On Thursday, we have the Miku Multipurpose Center, Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds, the Entrepot Human Resource Center, the Ancillary Parish Center. And on Friday, the Philip Marsley Grounds again, Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds, VG Sports Complex, Babano Multipurpose Center, Canry's Wellness Center as well, Sufer Hospital Grounds, and the Jack Mill Wellness Center. Now, there will also be vaccinations happening on the Saturday. So Saturday, May 8th, you can go to the VG Sports Complex to get vaccinated. As we continue with this morning's updates, just want to remind you the sitting of the House of Assembly scheduled for today. It's why we're back in the Honorable House. Among matters to be forwarded in the Honorable House today, the House will consider a motion for Parliament to further extend the state of emergency. The proposed extension is for an additional period of 5 months commencing from the 17th day of May, ending on the 16th day of October 2021 in accordance with the legislation. We are currently under a state of emergency and this will expire on the 16th day of May. Hence the continuation beginning on the 17th day of May and ending in October. So we will soon see the commencement of the proceedings here in the Honorable House to discuss that matter, and also we will see papers being laid by the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service, as well as the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Industry, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs. We continue with our updates this morning. The Diaspora continues to rise to the occasion, responding to the times, giving back to their homeland. St. Lucians in the Diaspora are relentless, essentially, in their charitable efforts. Just recently, shipments arrived from the United Kingdom and St. Croix, that's the U.S. Virgin Islands. 3 barrels of children's clothing and toys were donated by the Grosselet Community Association in the UK to go towards the children at the Achievers Early Childhood Center in Grand Riviere, Grosselet. And 4 barrels of clothing and household supplies were donated to the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, that is the SSDF, by Veronique Fede out of St. Croix of the St. Lucian Action Circle there for distribution to the less fortunate in the various communities. A resource mobilization officer at the SSDF, Anya Edwin, accepted the barrels on behalf of her organization that will go to the less fortunate in the various communities.
SSDF receives scores of persons on a daily basis and scores of calls, requests for assistance from the underprivileged in St. Lucia. And it is no secret that the pandemic is upon us and the situation has exacerbated in terms of the demand for assistance among the lesser privileged in St. Lucia. And persons right now who has lost their job or who have already been experiencing poverty, if they do have $1, it will not be to purchase an extra plate to put in the house or clothing to put on their back. So this donation from the St. Lucia Action Association of St. Croix and Ms. Veronica Fede and her team comes at a very timely, opportune time so that we could hand these donations, these clothing items, to our lesser privileged persons that are not able to afford.
And a representative was also there from the Achievers Early Childhood Center, Patricia Alton Rosalie out of Grosselet. She accepted the 3 barrels of children's clothing and toys for that preschool.
Okay, on behalf of the underprivileged and also the children at Achievers Early Childhood Development Center, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the Grosselet St. Lucia Community Association in the UK for your generosity after over 45 years and counting. They continue to champion the cause. I wish to say thanks for this kind gesture. It is most welcome at this time, especially as we are going through a pandemic. I strongly believe that the contents of these barriers will go a long way in assisting not just the children, but their parents as well.
For Diaspora Affairs, Her Excellency Dr. Jocelyn Fletcher, expressing thanks to St. Lucians abroad who continue their humanitarian efforts for St. Lucia during this pandemic. She did also speak to the Western Union line still remaining as long as ever, curling back at the corner of the road, and the remittances continue to come in, the help continues to come in, despite St. Lucians in the diaspora being affected themselves due to the pandemic.
I want to say to the Grocery Association in the UK, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is not the first time you have, and I know you'll continue doing. So we just want to say thank you for your continued support, your loyalty, and your patriotism to your country. The St. Lucia Action Circle of St. Croix, the president being Mrs. Veronique Fede, have decided that she will donate those four barrels to the SSDF so that they can distribute to the needy. Although they're experiencing the challenges of the pandemic themselves, many have lost their jobs, yet they have not stopped. In fact, their contributions to St. Lucia has increased. As you have noticed, the traffic in your office and my office, it is relentless. They have not stopped donating.
That was Ambassador for Diaspora Affairs, Her Excellency Dr. Jocelyn Fletcher. And finally from us, in terms of updates for the morning, the Castries Constituency Council recently concluded a consultative meeting with all its tenants of the huts located on Jabati Street, Castries. The consultation was not the first and focused on the second component of the first phase of the market redevelopment project, which will result in the relocation of the tenants to the old fire service headquarters site on Jeremy Street to facilitate the building of the Box Park. The Box Park is one of several components of the Castries Market redevelopment and falls under the second phase of the redevelopment plan aimed at modernizing the city's competitiveness. The project aims to improve the overall presentation and the quality of service offered by micro-entrepreneurs conducting business at this location. The Box Park will be a two-story rectangular structure designed with the intention of meeting the needs of tenants offering a diverse range of services. The ground floor will feature the following, that is 16 convenience shops, 8 fish vending shops, 6 meat vending shops, and 2 toilets with a closet for janitors. The first floor will feature a combination of 12 shops, that is bars and restaurants, male and female toilets, and dining and circulation spaces. It is important to note that the structure has been designed to resist lateral loads from seismic forces and hurricane-forced winds. Members of the public and tenants will be updated regularly on the plans as construction of this component of the Castries Market redevelopment advances. Please take note of this latest update word from the Castries Constituency Council on the continued upliftment of the city centre. We've come to the end of our updates for this morning. Just want to remind you the background that you're seeing. We are in the House of Parliament today in downtown Castries. A sitting of the House of Assembly is scheduled, so we will soon see the parliamentary representatives coming in for today's proceedings and other parliamentary officials for today. We have papers to be laid by the Prime Minister and Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service, and also the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Industry, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs. Among matters to be tabled in the Honorable House is a motion to be considered to further extend the state of emergency. As you know, we have an ongoing state of emergency which is set to expire on the 16th of this month, that's 16th of May. The proposed extension is for it to go beyond that up until the 16th day of October, so for an additional 5 months in accordance with section 17(6) of the Constitution of St. Lucia. We have the proceedings here in the Honorable House, and of course there has been much stir. You would know by now if you're following the media. Coming from the desk of the Commissioner of Police, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force has indicated that it has become aware of a mass crowd gathering which has been planned for today, and individuals are strongly encouraged, strongly advised to avoid any unnecessary mass crowd gatherings, not just in consideration of the pandemic and the legislation that guides the pandemic. We're talking about the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Prohibition Assembly Order, which states restriction on social activities. That is, a person shall not host nor attend a mass crowd event. Additionally, the Public Order Act Chapter 14.04 of the revised laws of St. Lucia prohibits marches near certain government buildings, certain premises, and or otherwise without the written permission of the Commissioner of Police. So they are reminding you, so there is this ordinance coming from the COVID-19 legislation, but you cannot conduct a mass crowd gathering near certain premises, including the government buildings in Castries, without the written permission of the Commissioner of Police. So please take note of this. We do hope everyone is remaining on the right side of the law for today, and of course allow democracy to prevail in the Honorable House. We do invite you to stay tuned to NTN. We should be seeing the proceedings starting shortly, so do stay tuned to NTN. We're going to go back to studio at this time. My name is Jessie Leon, signing off for now, but do stay tuned to NTN. Do look out for the notifications happening on YouTube, our Facebook channel, Facebook as well, platform as well, for when the proceedings begin.